am the only pure-blooded princess of the Black Flood Dragon tribe. My mother is always nagging in my ear, saying that the pure bloodline of the Flood Dragon tribe must never end in my hands. But those guys in the sea are all crooked and ugly. I really couldn't bring myself to eat them. So, I simply took what I wanted by force and kidnapped a handsome one back. It happened that the treasure ship Kanglan of the human ship king, Yen Kanglan, was sailing through the East Sea. I raised my hand and flipped the waves, sinking the ship directly, and abducted the man back to the deep sea palace. 3 years later, I am leisurely swimming past the coral hull of the dragon mother while holding an egg. Cece, where did you get that pearl egg? The quality is quite good, it's just right to grind it into powder for my face mask. I patted the eggshell proudly. I laid it myself. Oh, you laid it yourself. Then take good care of. The dragon mother's words got stuck in her throat, and a sharp cry that shook the deep sea exploded. Jiao Cece, get your butt over here right now. The egg in my arms made a light sound, and the shell actually cracked. A little guy drilled out from the eggshell. A snowy white little face, a pair of eyes like black grapes that were watery and bright, and a pair of shallow dimples at the corners of the mouth. One smile could melt a person's heart. I was shocked. These human genes are too strong. Mother, I instantly froze in place, even forgetting to wag my tail fin. The broken eggshell scattered all over the place, and pearl-like fragments floated in the seawater. This cub actually chose to hatch right when my mother was losing her temper. He was born to cause trouble. I held the little dragon person and wagged my tail fin to swim back. The little guy snuggled in my arms, his tiny tail fin lightly brushing my arm, which made most of the anger in my heart vanish. Why are you shouting? You almost scared my cub. Can you afford to pay for it? The dragon mother was stunned by my shout, and the sea pearl powder on her face fell all over the ground. You, this, with whom did you have this cub? You are a pure-blooded black flood dragon of our tribe, and you dared to have a cub with an outsider? Her gaze fell on the little bundle in my arms. The little guy seemed to understand the dragon mother's words. He blinked at her and blew out a string of tiny pearl bubbles. Where did this wild man come from who dared to touch the pure-blooded princess of our dragon tribe? I will definitely flip his nest and sink him into the East Sea to feed the giant turtles. Seeing the dragon mother looking like she was facing a great enemy, I moved my tail to block the cub. Dragons are naturally lustful, and flood dragons aren't much better. My mother was someone who flirted with all the spirits of the four seas back in the day. Is it because she sees my cub as cute and wants to snatch him from me? Or because she thinks the father is handsome and wants to find him trouble? What are you doing? Look at how cute our cub is. You can't find a second one in the 8 wildernesses. The dragon mother was so angry at my words that she rolled her eyes. I am angry because you are useless, having a cub with an outsider and losing the face of our dragon tribe. My mother has probably stayed in the deep sea too long and forgotten the power of the human ship king, Yen Kanglan. His 10,000 ship bay has sails that can cover half of the East Sea when connected. Let alone flipping his nest, one would probably be surrounded by his fleet before getting close. Moreover, now that the cub is born, I can't let him have no father. I held the cub and spoke leisurely. Don't just focus on scolding me. Looking at our dragon tribe's egg-laying time, you probably went to flirt with the knight hero of the West Sea just after you came of age. I only have this one, but what about you back then? The dragon mother's face instantly turned red, and her eyes flickered. Zhu Beijing of the South Sea fought with a soldier spirit for you. The reputation of you, the dragon concubine, is known throughout the 4 seas. How can you have the face to call me reckless? I was young and ignorant back then, a moment of confusion. I cannot let you repeat my mistakes. At most, I just flirted. I didn't actually do it. I held the little dragon person and gave the dragon mother a massive roll of my eyes. I didn't believe a single word she said. Right now, if I swim a circle around the 4 seas, I can feel countless threads of faint bloodline connections. No need to think, they are all my mother's masterpieces from back then. It's just that she gave birth but didn't raise them. She either threw them to the other party or dumped them in the sea to be raised by fate. Unlike me, my father and mother are both pure-blooded black flood dragons, and I am 100% pure blood, honest and true. Although my cub's father is a human, he is at least a leader among humans, handsome and powerful. Look at our cub. He combines the agility of the dragon tribe and the handsomeness of the human race. The silver pearl mark on his forehead can even blow spirit bubbles. His talent is better than mine. The dragon mother's gaze fell on the little guy. The little guy seemed to feel her gaze and blew out another string of bubbles. The bubbles fell on the dragon mother's coral staff and actually wrapped around it with a faint silver light. Before leaving, she didn't forget to throw a harsh word. I will settle the score with that wild man sooner or later. And this little cub, don't let me find anything bad about him, or I'll punish you along with him. I looked at her back and curled my lip. Our cub is so cute, she will probably be too busy doting on him. The little guy snuggled in my arms, let out a tiny yawn, leaned his small head against my arm, and actually fell asleep slowly. I lightly patted his back, calculating in my heart that since the cub is born, I can't let him stay in the deep sea forever without knowing who his father is. That Yen Kanglan is at least the child's father. I can't let him get a free ride and not recognize the child. At the very least, he has to reimburse me the money for giving birth and raising the cub. He also needs to let him recognize his ancestors and serve as a backup for our cub. If there's no money, giving me a few of his treasure ships that can crash through dragon rocks would be fine. If that doesn't work, a few human brothers as handsome as him would do. I am quite generous and not picky about species. No sooner said than done. I dug out my storage ring and stuffed it with a bunch of deep sea pearls, coral fat, and several water avoidance beads. After all, when a dragon person goes ashore, they can't do without water. I also found a piece of 1,000-year-old warm jade, carved it into a small cradle, and lined it with 3 layers of dragon silk. Dragon silk is a treasure worth 1,000 gold in the human world. 3 layers are mainly to prevent my cub from getting bumped, and secondary to prevent prevent the rough things of the human world from scratching my dragon silk. The little guy was sleeping soundly, his small tail fin occasionally moving slightly. He was so cute. Everything was ready. I wagged my tail fin and swam toward the sea surface. Before going ashore, I transformed into human form. My black hair reached my waist, and my skin was the cold white characteristic of dragon people, though my legs were still not very steady. The warm jade cradle in my arms was protected by my dragon magic. The little guy inside was still sleeping peacefully. There is a ferry on the human coast called Wanhai Ferry. Unlike the deep sea dragon palace, this place is full of sand, and it feels soft when you step on it. I took 2 steps and almost slipped and fell on my butt. Luckily, I reacted quickly and grabbed a nearby reef. Cub, the road in your father's territory is really hard to walk. When we find your father, we'll have him pave a dragonstone road for us so it feels comfortable. The little guy smacked his lips, turned over, and continued to sleep. It seemed he agreed by default. There are ferry boats at Wanhai Ferry. Unlike the deep sea dragon ships, these ships are made of wood and are wobbly, but the advantage is that they are cheap. You can ride for just 2 spirit stones, and it goes directly to Yen Kanglin's nest, 10,000 ship bay. I had only ridden this thing once, 3 years ago after I sank Yen Kanglin's treasure ship. I secretly followed him once. I didn't expect the price of spirit stones hasn't increased in all these years. How conscientious. I walked to the ferry boat and took out 4 spirit stones to hand over. The old boatman was stunned. Miss, 2 stones per person is enough. I pointed to the warm jade cradle in my arms. I'm not alone, there's also my cub. Although he is small, he is also alive. I can't let him ride for free. The old boatman looked at the cradle in my arms and then at me. His gaze was strange, but he still took the spirit stones. Miss, sit over there, it's steady. I sat down holding the cradle. I have to say, although this ferry boat is simple, it is much faster than swimming by myself, and it saves effort and is comfortable. Another day, I'll catch a human carpenter and take him back to the dragon palace to build a ship for me alone. It should be covered with coral and pearls, and it should be able to run in the sea and walk on land, the kind that is majestic and domineering. That would be worthy of my status as a dragon princess and make my cub sit comfortably. I was sitting in my seat imagining myself and the cub sitting in a custom vehicle, picking out handsome men across the 4 seas, when a sharp and mean voice came from the side. What's wrong with you? One person taking up 2 seats and holding a broken jade box. You look poor. You're probably trying to cheat the boat fare. I frowned and turned my head. I saw a fat man in silk clothes with an oily face. His eyes were leering at me greedily. He looked uglier than the ugly octopus spirits in the deep sea. The little guy in my arms seemed disturbed by the voice. His little brow furrowed, and he gave a soft cry. My anger flared up instantly, and I said coldly to the fat man, so ugly. Hey, how can you just start cursing people? I kindly reminded you, and you dare to curse me? I rolled my eyes. Who cursed you? I don't know how to curse. I'm just being honest. And I have a child with me. For you to fight for a seat with a mother carrying a child, your quality is really low. I lightly patted the cradle to soothe the little guy, and he slowly fell back to sleep. Hearing my words, everyone on the ferry boat turned their eyes over and began to look the fat man up and down with disdainful eyes. Here, I have to thank my ship king man. Ever since he became the leader of the human ship kings, he started some moral education along the coast and set a rule. Those who bully the old, weak, sick, disabled, or pregnant will be sunk in the sea to feed the fish. His rule was simple and crude. If your quality is bad, it's fine, you can change. If you don't change, it's also fine. I'll find someone to sink you into the East Sea to feed the giant turtles. After all, he is Yen Kanglin, the #1 ship king in the world, and his 10,000 ship bay is the #1 port. If you don't like it, you are welcome to bring your fleet to smash the port. I must say, this temper really suits my taste, which is why I couldn't wait to sink his ship and kidnap him back to the deep sea as soon as I came of age. The fat man turned bright red from everyone's stares and became angry from shame. You look like a young girl who just came of age with tender skin. How do you look like a mother? I think you're just faking it to cheat people. I sneered and raised my hand to manifest the dragon pearl mark on my forehead. It was an ink-colored pearl mark with a faint blue glow. As the dragon pearl mark appeared, my aura as a pure-blooded black flood dragon was instantly released, filling the entire small ferry boat. The little guy in my arms seemed to feel my aura. The silver pearl mark on his forehead also flashed, echoing my dragon pearl mark. The powerful water spirit energy wrapped in dragon pressure instantly turned the fat man's face pale with fear. His legs went soft, and he knelt down directly. Immortal, spare my life. Immortal, spare my life. The others were also affected by this aura, their faces turning pale. Some people's teacups fell to the deck and shattered, and some people's protective jade pendants even shattered from the pressure, falling to the floor with a crisp sound. Seeing this, I hurriedly withdrew the dragon pearl mark and dissipated the pressure. I forgot that humans are so fragile. I just released a bit of aura casually, not even enough to scare a little dragon person in the deep sea, but I didn't expect humans wouldn't be able to handle it and almost woke up my cub. I hurriedly stood up to apologize. I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't know you humans are so fragile. I thought you were at least like the little silver fish in my house. At most you'd get a little startled, but not scared to this extent. As I apologized, I took out some things from my storage ring that I didn't need and gave them as compensation to those whose magic items were broken by me. They were all things commonly seen in the deep sea, like thumb-sized small pearls, broken coral branches, and some ordinary sea pearls. They were all piled up in the corners of my storage ring and were almost catching dust, worthless things. After all, in the deep sea, you can just scoop up a bunch of these pearls and corals. I usually use them to feed the fish. I put these things into their hands. Those who were originally distressed about their broken magic items saw the pearls and corals in their hands, and their faces instantly showed shock. Their eyes bulged wider than bronze bells, and their mouths were open wide enough to fit an egg. Looking at their expressions, I carefully tested, is it too cheap? Actually, I was a little bit pained too. Although these things aren't valuable, I spent half a day gathering them. If they thought it was too little, I wouldn't want to take out better things. But thinking about it, their protective magic items were as fragile as seashells on the beach. They must be very hard to make. I didn't even touch them and they broke. Making them must be very difficult. Compensating with these should be enough, right? Before I finished speaking, those people instantly jumped up from their chairs. With a clap, they all knelt in front of me. The grace of the Great One's gift of holy treasures, this lowly one will keep it in mind. The Great One's dragon breath has greatly improved this lowly one's water attribute cultivation. Thank you for the Great One's great kindness and virtue. Their heads hit the floor with loud thuds. I was stunned and froze in place, still holding a small pearl I hadn't given away. This style is not right, is it? Shouldn't they say those broken things were very expensive and my worthless items were not enough, and ask me to compensate them with better things? Why did they kneel? Not just the people I gave things to, but even those I didn't give anything to, those who were just affected by the pressure, also knelt down with a clap, each shouting that they wanted to serve me like cows or horses. Some even said they wanted to be my death-sworn guards, following me for a lifetime, not hesitating even if they had to climb mountains of knives or enter seas of fire. What is dragon breath? Isn't it just the air I breathed? This thing can actually improve cultivation. Also, what are death-sworn guards? Can they help me find a handsome man? If they can, keeping two isn't out of the question. After all, I will be taking my cub to visit the 4 seas to find handsome brothers in the future, so having someone to run errands is not bad. I was surrounded in the middle and didn't know what to do. Finally, I just waved my hand. Alright, all of you get up. No need to be death-sworn guards. Just don't fight with me for seats and don't disturb my cub. Hearing my words, those people felt as if they were granted a great pardon. They hurriedly stood up and stood respectfully to the side, not even daring to sit. Each of them lowered their heads, not daring to breathe loudly. The atmosphere on the ferry boat instantly became strange. No one dared to speak. There was only the sound of the oars hitting the water and the old boatman's trembling sound while rowing. I sat back in my seat and lightly patted the cradle in my arms. I murmured in my heart, humans are really strange, but their hearts are quite good. Give them some worthless items and they want to give me their lives. They are more honest than those spirits in the deep sea. When we were close to 10,000 Ship Bay, a strong man who looked like a trained fighter handed me a palm-sized small ship model. It was entirely made of white jade and inlaid with gold pearls. It looked very exquisite. Great One, this is a top-grade spirit treasure, the ocean-crossing boat, that this lowly one obtained by chance. It can carry people and goods, and it is water-repellent and fireproof. I give it to the Great One to show my sincerity. I took the white jade small ship and weighed it. It felt good, and the size was just right to fit my warm jade cradle. I nodded in satisfaction and put the cradle inside. By the way, I grabbed a handful of phoenix feathers from my storage ring and put them in. Not to protect my cub, but because I was afraid my cub's warm jade cradle was too hard and might break this spirit treasure white jade boat. After all, my cub's things are treasures of the deep sea, much more precious than this white jade boat. Speaking of which, those phoenixes were really stingy. Back then, I plucked a few of their feathers at the South Heaven Gate to use as lining for my pearl bed. As a result, those phoenixes screamed and chased me for 3,000 miles, insisting that I had to use my dragon tail to pet their heads before they would quiet down. What a bunch of little naughty ghosts. After getting off the ferry boat, I took a deep breath. I finally got rid of those humans who had suddenly become unusually enthusiastic for some reason. They pestered me all the way and insisted on giving me things. My storage ring was almost filled up. The white jade boat in my arms was protected in front of me. The little guy inside was still sleeping sweetly, his small chest rising and falling gently. 10,000 Ship Bay really lives up to its reputation. At one glance, it's full of ships. The large and small sails connect to block out the sun. On the green stone road by the dock, there are ship merchants and sailors coming and going everywhere. The shouting and hawking are constant. It's very lively, much more so than the markets in our dragon palace. It's just that the smell isn't very good, full of fishy smells and sweat, not as fresh as the seawater in the deep sea. I stood by the dock and looked into the distance. I could see the main residence of Yen Kanglin, the Ship King mansion. It was built on a small hill by the sea, with green tiles and white walls, flying eaves, and upturned corners, and a tall, sea-viewing tower. It is said that standing on the tower, one can see the sails of the entire East Sea. I have to say, it is quite grand, though a bit worse than our dragon palace. Our dragon palace's coral hall is entirely built from 1,000-year-old red coral, with pearls paving the floor and sea pearls hanging from the ceiling. When it lights up at night, it looks better than the stars in the sky. When the time comes, I'll have Yen Kanglin dismantle a few bricks from his mansion and borrow 2 10,000-year corals from my third grandaunt's sea dragon palace to stick on. It will definitely look better than it does now and be worthy of our cub status. Just to clarify, only my third grandaunt's dragon palace is in the sea. My family's dragon palace is not in the sea, it's in the deep sea trench of the East Sea. However, my family's dragon palace roof also has coral from my third grandaunt. The last time I sank Yen Kanglin's treasure ship was on the surface of the East Sea outside 10,000 Ship Bay, so this was my first time coming to the bay and the mansion. Just as I reached the main gate of the mansion, I was stopped by 2 guards in black tight-fitting clothes. They held long sabers and looked at me guardedly. Stop. The Ship King mansion forbids outsiders. Casual people, leave quickly. Me, an outsider? I'm carrying your master's cub. Although I was the one who sank your master's ship and kidnapped him, your mansion can't just turn its back and not recognize people, right? However, since it's my first time here, I should leave a good impression for my cub's father and not just flip his gate right away. After all, I still need to ask him for child-raising money. Alright, I'll leave now. now. Don't be angry, you too. As I spoke, I secretly took out 2 palm-sized small hammers from my storage ring. These are my specially made, memory-dissipating magic hammers. One hit is all it takes. After being hit, you forget things. I tapped my feet and used water spirit energy to teleport behind them, raising my hand and tapping. After 2 crisp sounds, the 2 guards rolled their eyes and fell straight down without even a grunt. Done. I dragged the 2 guards to the side of the nearby artificial mountain, found a hidden spot to hide them, and then took out 2 puppets from my storage ring. They can transform into human form and can simply talk and do things, perfect for this situation. I tapped the puppets, and they instantly transformed into the likeness of the 2 guards, standing at the gate motionlessly, looking exactly like the real ones. I'm really a good person. Seeing them tired from standing guard, I even used puppets to help them out so they could have a good rest and sleep. How thoughtful. As a reward, let me borrow one of your outfits, and by the way, it's not too much to let me have a look, right? I stripped the clothes off one of the guards and put them on myself. The black tight-fitting clothes were quite a good fit, but the material was too poor. Yuck, so small. This one is even smaller. If I knew earlier, I wouldn't have looked. It's an eyesore. After changing clothes, I walked into the Ship King mansion boldly. I murmured in my heart that this mansion is too big, winding around with corridors and artificial mountains. It's harder to navigate than our Dragon Palace's coral maze. As I walked on the green stone road of the mansion, I looked around. Except for a few servant girls sweeping the floor and a few patrolling guards, there wasn't even anyone to talk to. It was very quiet. Are there only this many people in the Ship King mansion? I walked a few steps faster and stopped a servant girl carrying tea. She wore a light green skirt and looked timid. I just came back from patrolling outside. Where has everyone in the mansion gone? I imitated the tone of a human guard and spoke in a deep voice, carefully protecting the white jade boat in my arms. This guard brother, you look very unfamiliar. You aren't from the mansion, are you? Besides, today is the master's 10,000 ship meeting. Everyone in the mansion has gone to the dock to help. How could you not know? Shoot, I'm exposed. I didn't feel like wasting words with her either. I raised my hand, took out my small hammer, and lightly tapped her on the head. The girl rolled her eyes and fainted. I dragged the sleeping girl toward the flower bed nearby. Luckily there were few people here and no one saw, otherwise it would be troublesome. If it woke up our cub, I wouldn't let those people off. I had just hidden the girl behind the flower bed and wanted to catch my breath when a voice came from behind me. What are you doing? My heart skipped a beat. I looked up and saw a young man in a green silk robe standing not far away, holding a folding fan. He looked elegant and was likely a manager or something in the mansion. Great, I'm discovered again. I gave 2 dry laughs, trying to muddle through. I say, young master, if I say this lady suddenly fell asleep, would you believe me? The young man frowned and took 2 steps forward. I think you are suspicious. You are not a guard of the mansion at all. Come with me to see the Ship King. Before he could finish, I teleported behind him and raised the hammer. Forget it, you should just bear with it too. Well, another one asleep. People in this mansion really love to sleep. They are all so drowsy. When I see Yen Kanglin later, I must have a good talk with him and tell him to manage his servants. He shouldn't let them sleep wherever they want. It's such a bad influence. Speaking of which, back then I only sank Yen Kanglin's ship and kidnapped him to the deep sea. I didn't even know what he was called. It was only later I heard from the searching dragon people of the deep sea that the human Ship King leader was called Yen Kanglin. That's how I got a name. As for what he looks like, I remember very clearly. After all, you can't forget a man this handsome after one look. After settling the young master and the servant girl, I waved my hand and used dragon magic to transform my clothes into the light green skirt the girl was wearing. My hair was let down, and I looked like a human woman. That girl said today is the 10,000 ship meeting. It sounds like a group of ship merchants gathering to drink and brag, and maybe even fight. I like watching humans fight the most. It's more interesting than watching octopuses and squids fight in the deep sea. I'm going to join the fun. Child, we'll find your father in a bit. First, follow your mother to eat some melons and watch the excitement. I patted the white jade boat in my arms. I happily turned around and walked toward the dock. As I walked, I murmured, not forgetting to take out a deep sea pearl from my storage ring and peel it to eat. The pearl meat was tender and sweet, much better than the candies of the human world, but a bit choking. I casually scooped a mouthful of water from the nearby pond to drink and instantly felt much better. The white jade boat in my hands was protected tightly for fear of being bumped by people coming and going. Reaching the side gate of the mansion, I happened to see a group of servant girls carrying tea toward the dock. I quickly followed them. Mixing in the crowd, I walked all the way to the dock of 10,000 Ship Bay. The dock was even more lively. A high stage had been built, with tables and chairs on it. It was surrounded by ship merchants in silk clothes and many sailors in tight-fitting outfits. I rubbed my belly. I was a bit hungry since I hadn't eaten anything since leaving the deep sea. I took a spirit stone from my storage ring and exchanged it for a stick of candied haws. I took a bite. It was sweet and sour, quite delicious. I put the candied haws near the white jade boat. Cub, have a taste. But you are still small and can't eat it, so mother will eat it for you. While eating the candied haws, I looked toward the stage, trying to find where Yen Kanglin was. Since he is the Ship King, he must be in the very center of the stage. Sure enough, in the middle of the stage sat a man in a black silk robe with a jade belt around his waist. A black jade pendant hung from the belt. He was resting his chin on one hand, sitting there. It was exactly the Ship King leader I kidnapped to the deep sea, Yen Kanglin. 3 years later, he is still so handsome, more so than any spirit in the deep sea. I really didn't choose the wrong person. My cub's father's appearance is top tier. No loss. I held the white jade boat and stood in the crowd, acting like a fangirl. I murmured in my heart, how could such a handsome man have been kidnapped by me after I sank his ship? Sure enough, my charm is great. Even the human Ship King couldn't resist resist. Just as I was being a fangirl, Yan Kanglin on the stage suddenly looked up. His gaze swept over and landed exactly on me. Our eyes met, and my heart skipped a beat. The candied Haas almost fell out of my hand. Shoot, I'm discovered. Yan Kanglin's gaze stayed on me for a few seconds. A flash of doubt appeared in his eyes. He seemed to find me unfamiliar, yet also seemed to have seen me somewhere. I quickly lowered my head and pretended to eat the candied Haas, my heart thumping. It wasn't fear, it was just a bit of a guilty conscience. After all, I was the one who sank his ship and then drugged and kidnapped him to the deep sea back then. Speaking of which, I am quite in the wrong. But on second thought, I even gave birth to a cub for him. He should be the one in the wrong. Why should I be guilty? I raised my head again and met his gaze, even giving him a wink. The candied Haas made a loud crunching sound as I bit them. The little guy in my arms seemed to feel the strangeness in the air. The silver pearl mark on his forehead flashed lightly. Yan Kanglin's brow furrowed. He stood up, said a few words to a manager-like person next to him, and then walked down from the stage, heading straight for me. The ship merchants and sailors around saw the ship king walking down and all lowered their heads, not daring to breathe. The originally lively dock suddenly became much quieter. Yan Kanglin walked in front of me and stopped. He looked down at me from above. He was more than a head taller than me. His shadow enveloped me. He carried a faint smell of seawater and ink, which was very pleasant. Who are you? Why do you carry such heavy water spirit energy at my 10,000 ship meeting? As expected of the ship king, traveling on the sea year-round, he is very sensitive to water spirit energy. He could detect my hidden dragon aura and probably even the aura of the cub in my arms. I didn't hide it anymore. With a wave of my hand, I deactivated the illusion on my body and restored my original appearance. My black hair reached my waist, my skin was cold white, and my eyes carried the characteristic charm of the dragon tribe. I held that white jade boat with my precious cub inside. Yan Kanglin, long time no see. I smiled, revealing two tiny dimples, exactly like his dimples. Seeing my appearance, Yan Kanglin's pupils contracted sharply. His eyes were full of shock. He seemed to remember the events of 3 years ago. He was stunned for a long time before he spoke, his voice a bit hoarse. It's you, the dragon person who sank my Kanglin. What do you mean, sank your Kanglin? It was clearly your ship that wasn't sturdy enough. It sank as soon as it was touched. Can you blame me? 3 years ago, I just lightly tapped the bottom of his ship with my tail, and as a result, that Kanglin, which was claimed to be unsinkable, directly took on water and sank. It was the quality of his ship. Yan Kanglin's mouth twitched. He seemed to remember the scenes from back then. Back then his ship sank, he fell into the sea, and was wrapped by a powerful water spirit energy and taken to a deep sea, where he met a beautiful dragon girl, me. During those few days, he was hosted with good food and drink in the deep sea, but I wouldn't let him leave. He originally thought it was a dream. After all, how could there be such a beautiful dragon in the world who happened to fancy him? His gaze fell on the white jade boat in my arms and saw the warm jade cradle inside. The little guy in the cradle had woken up at some point and was looking at him with eyes like black grapes. The silver pearl mark on his forehead flashed, and he blew out a string of tiny pearl bubbles. The bubbles floated in front of Yan Kanglin and popped lightly, releasing a faint water spirit energy that blended with the seawater smell on him. Yan Kanglin's expression was instantly full of disbelief. He had lived for more than 20 years and seen all kinds of people, from the gods in heaven to the spirits in the deep sea, but he had never thought he would have a child with a dragon, especially such a tiny little dragon. What is this? His voice trembled a bit. He reached out wanting to touch the little guy but was afraid of breaking him. Your cub. Yan Kanglin, I am Jiao Sisi, the princess of the Black Flood Dragon tribe. This is the child of me and you. I came today to let you recognize your ancestor, and by the way, give me some child-raising money. The little guy seemed to understand my words and called out to Yan Kanglin softly, Data. That one word data was soft and clear. It hit Yan Kanglin right in the heart. He looked down at the little guy in the cradle. The little guy had the same black eye tail patterns as me, the exact same dimples as him, and the silver pearl mark on his forehead glowed with silver light as his tiny tail fin wagged lightly. Yan Kanglin's gaze shifted from shock to tenderness. He carefully stretched out a finger and touched the little guy's small cheek. The little guy wasn't shy. He used his small head to rub against his finger. Humans and dragons, how is it possible to have a child? Why is it impossible? I am a pure-blooded black flood dragon, and you are a human leader. Both our genes are good. The cub born is definitely the most handsome little dragon in the 8 wildernesses. Look at him, his talent is so good. He can even blow spirit bubbles. Yan Kanglin fell silent. He stood there for a long time without saying a word, seeming to digest the shocking news, yet he was unwilling to move his gaze away. His eyes were locked tightly on the little guy in the cradle. The ship merchants and sailors around were all stunned. Each lowered their head and didn't dare to speak, but their hearts were exploding. The ship king actually has a child with a dragon, and such a cute little dragon. If this gets out, the entire 4 seas will be shaken. I saw Yan Kanglin's silent look and got a bit impatient. Are you going to recognize him or not? If not, I'll take this cub back to the deep sea to raise him myself. In the future, this cub's surname will be Jiao, not Yen. Also, as for me sinking your, oh wait, I mean the ship thing, let's call it even. We won't owe each other anything in the future. As I spoke, I turned to leave. My heart was actually a bit panicked. If he really didn't recognize him, wouldn't I have given birth for nothing? The child-raising money would be gone too. That would be a huge loss. Our cub can't be without a father. Just as I turned, Yan Kanglin grabbed my wrist. His palm was warm and his strength was great, making my wrist hurt a little, yet he was careful as if afraid of hurting me. I recognize him. My child, how could I not recognize him? Sisi, I'm sorry. 3 years ago was my negligence, leaving you to give birth and raise the cub alone in the deep sea. It must have been hard for you. Hearing his words, the stone in my heart dropped. Luckily he recognized him. The child-raising money is is secured, and our cub has a father. As long as you know it was hard. So, where's the child raising money? My dragon tribe needs 1,000-year pearls to eat and 10,000-year nectar to drink when raising cubs. We also need deep-sea warm jade for the cradle. These are all very expensive, you figure it out. Also, our cub's name hasn't been given yet. As the father, you have to give him a name. Yan Kanglin looked at my money-loving appearance and then at the little guy in the cradle smiling at him. He couldn't help but laugh, his dimples showing, which made me act like a fangirl again. Don't worry, I won't mistreat you or the child. Come, follow me back to the mansion. I'll give you whatever you want. I'll think of the name. I'll definitely give our cub the best sounding name. I nodded, my heart blooming with joy. I followed Yan Kanglin back to the Ship King mansion. The little guy in my arms snuggled in the warm jade cradle and reached out his tiny hand toward Yan Kanglin. Yan Kanglin carefully held his tiny hand. The scene was very warm. I murmured in my heart, it seems coming to the human world was the right choice. Our mother and son will have a backup now. Following Yan Kanglin back to the mansion, he took me directly to his sleeping quarters, the sea viewing tower. This tower was built at the highest point of the mansion. The view was excellent. Yan Kanglin had people tidy up the side hall of the tower for me and the cub to stay in. He also had people move in all kinds of treasures, gold, silver, pearls, and agates piled up on a table. There were also several exquisite ship models. There were even mini ship models specially made for the little guy. They were very delicate. Take these first. If it's not enough, tell me. Whatever your dragon tribe needs for raising a cub, just say it. I'll have people go to the East Sea to fetch it. Even 1,000-year-old red coral or 10,000-year-old sea pearls from the deep sea, I can get them for you. Also, I've thought of a name for the child. Yan Julan. He will take my surname Yan. Zhu is for the meaning of dragon pearls, and Lan is for my ship Kanglin. What do you think? Yan Julan. That name is quite nice. I looked at the little guy in the cradle and called out, Julan. Yan Julan. The little guy seemed to like the name. He blinked, blew a string of bubbles, and called out to Yan Kanglin, Dada, Julan. Yan Kanglin's eyes lit up instantly. He smiled with his eyes curved and took the little guy from my arms, carefully protecting him in his embrace. The little guy snuggled in his arms, his tiny tail fin lightly brushing his arm. He was soft and cute. Even the servants around couldn't help but smile. I was very happy. It's enough. But Julan's cradle needs to be a bit bigger. Also, I can't do without water. You have to change the pond in the side hall to a deep sea environment. It needs a constant supply of seawater, and the temperature must be the same as the deep sea. Also, the things Julan and I eat must be from the deep sea. I rambled on a lot, and Yan Kanglin listened patiently, having the manager write it down. However, Yan Kanglin didn't mind at all. As long as the requests were made by me and Julan, he satisfied all of them and even added quite a few extra. For example, he had a whole set of deep sea warm jade toys made for Julan, small coral ships and small pearl fish. They were very exquisite. He made a dragon silk quilt for me, which was more delicate than my own. He even had a ship made of pure gold so he could take Julan for a row. Julan and I started a good life of being served at the Ship King mansion. Every day we ate deep sea delicacies and played with all kinds of treasures. Julan was pampered to the sky by Yan Kanglin. He was held wherever he went for fear of being bumped. Yan Kanglin even had a small dragon silk swaddle made to wrap Julan in. Every day after he finished handling ship business, he would come to the tower to accompany me and Julan. Sometimes he would hold Julan by the window to watch the East Sea scenery and teach him to recognize sails. Sometimes he would ask me about the deep sea and listen to me tell stories. Sometimes he would teach me human characters and rules. Julan would snuggle to the side, occasionally blowing a string of bubbles. Human characters are too complicated, much harder than the bubble language of the dragon tribe. Human rules are also many. Sitting properly when eating, speaking softly, not wagging one's tail casually. Julan, however, learned quickly. At a young age, he already knew many human characters and would imitate Yan Kanglin by holding a small folding fan to fan himself. He was so cute. Once, I saw a rabbit in the garden of the mansion and thought it was cute, so I wanted to catch it to play. As a result, the rabbit ran. I chased the rabbit and accidentally released a bit of dragon pressure, which withered the flowers and plants in the garden and scared a passing servant girl into a faint. Julan snuggled in Yan Kanglin's arms, watching me run and shouting from his small mouth. Yan Kanglin heard the noise and came over. Seeing the mess in the garden and the rabbit in my hand, he rubbed my hair. Cece, run slower. Don't scare the servants. I curled my lip and let the rabbit go. This rabbit runs too fast. It's not fun at all. It's not as well behaved as the small silver fish in the deep sea. Yan Kanglin looked at me. In the future, I will accompany you and Julan back to the deep sea and catch a whole ship of silver fish for you to play with as much as you want. Dada, mama, go home. Julan, on the side, used his small head to rub Yan Kanglin's chin and called out softly. His embrace was very warm. The good days didn't last long before trouble arrived. One day, I was with Yan Kanglin accompanying Julan to row the gold ship in the pond. He was holding a mini oar and occasionally blowing bubbles. Suddenly, I felt a powerful dragon aura coming from the sea surface, getting closer and closer. My heart skipped a beat. Shoot, my mother is here. Sure enough, in the next second, the seawater of the entire 10,000 ship bay rose in huge waves. The ships by the dock were rocked by the waves. In the pond of the Ship King mansion, the seawater also began to boil. The dragon mother, along with the turtle chancellor and several dragon guards, drilled out from the sea. They transformed into human form and stood in the courtyard of the mansion. Jiao Cece, you dead girl. You ran here to mess around with a wild man and even brought Julan. See if I don't skin you alive. I quickly jumped off the gold ship. Yan Kanglin held Julan and protected both me and the child in front of him. Julan snuggled in Yan Kanglin's arms. Looking at the dragon mother, he recognized her as his grandmother and called out softly, Grandma. That one word grandma instantly instantly dissipated most of the dragon mother's anger. Her gaze fell on Julan, her eyes widening. The coral staff in her hand was lowered. She walked over quickly and looked at Julan carefully. "This is Julan, my dear grandson." Julan didn't seem afraid of the dragon mother. He smiled at her and blew out another string of bubbles. The bubbles fell on her coral staff and wrapped around it with silver light. The dragon mother was instantly melted by Julan's cuteness. The anger on her face vanished without a trace. "My dear grandson is so cute, much cuter than your mother was when she was little." Watching this scene, I rolled my eyes. Yan Kanglin took a step forward and bowed to the dragon mother. "Mother-in-law, your son-in-law Yan Kanglin greets you." Holding Julan, the dragon mother was stunned for a moment. "Who is your mother-in-law? I haven't recognized you as a son-in-law, but for Julan's sake, I'll spare you for now." Yan Kanglin smiled and waved to the manager behind him. The manager immediately had several boxes brought up. Opening the boxes, they were full of deep-sea rarities: 1,000-year-old red coral, a green water god pearl, a small deep-sea warm jade lock, small clothes made of dragon silk, and exquisite pearl necklaces. "As long as mother-in-law is willing, I can take Cece and Julan back to the dragon palace anytime." Looking at the rarities in the boxes and holding Julan, the dragon mother could not hide the smile on her face. "You kid are quite sensible. I still need to see your future performance. If you dare to bully Cece or Julan, I will still flip your ship king mansion." The dragon mother held Julan. "Grandma, also, Julan is the little treasure of my dragon tribe. He must visit the dragon palace often in the future. Whoever dares to bully him is making an enemy of the dragon tribe." Yan Kanglin said respectfully, "Yes, your son-in-law will keep mother-in-law's teachings in mind." I saw the dragon mother's duplicitous look and couldn't help but laugh. She stayed, and the turtle chancellor and dragon guards also stood by, supposedly watching me and Julan so we wouldn't be tricked by humans. Actually, they just wanted to stay in the mansion to play with Julan and enjoy some comfort. After the dragon mother arrived, the days in the mansion became even more lively. "Whatever my little Julan wants, Grandma will give it to him." She even took her treasured 1,000-year pearls, ground them into powder, and used them as baby food for Julan. "This treasure is beautiful. Save it for Julan." She even joined me in plucking the wool from Yan Kanglin. Yan Kanglin built a coral ship for her and specially made a mini coral ship for Julan. "Julan, Grandma will take you on the new ship." The turtle chancellor, on the other hand, held an abacus every day to calculate Yan Kanglin's family wealth. "The Yan family's foundation is so thick, we must save up family property for Julan. It's only right to donate some ships and treasures to the dragon palace." "Chancellor, this is really making it difficult for this lowly one." Yan Kanglin often went fishing on the sea with the dragon mother and Julan. Her fishing skills were better than Yan Kanglin's sailors. She could scoop up a whole ship of fish in one go. Julan would occasionally blow a string of bubbles to direct the schools of fish. He was exceptionally talented. The ship king's mother-in-law and young master are both gods. Yan Kanglin's rival, the South Sea ship merchant Zhao III, brought a fleet to the bay to provoke him. He wanted to have a rowing competition with Yan Kanglin. The loser would give up the South Sea shipping route. Yan Kanglin is close with the dragon people. He has lost the face of the human race and gained a weakness. "This time I will definitely grab the South Sea route." "Kid, you dare to snatch a route from my son-in-law? You dare to bully my grandson? This old lady will make it so you can't even touch the edge of the South Sea." "Julan, give Grandma some strength. Sink his ship." "I don't dare anymore." This lowly one doesn't dare anymore. "I beg for mercy. I give up the route. I will hand it over now." Zhao III was scared out of his wits and ran away as fast as he could. After this incident, Yan Kanglin's status as the ship king became even more stable. All the ship merchants in the four seas knew, you can provoke anyone, but you must not provoke the ship king's family. Otherwise, you will be dealt with by the dragon mother and the little dragon together, and then sunk to feed the giant turtles. Yan Kanglin wanted to learn how to breathe underwater like the dragon people. As a result, he studied for a long time and almost choked to death in the pond. "Dada, silly. You are just too silly. You can't even learn this. Still, you mother and son are the powerful ones."